watched a video on the wheel bearings on the Nuda 900, and they're the same I think on the BMW F800R and one or two other models as well, with the cast wheels like this. I've taken the bearings out, and this is the issue I think a lot of owners will have or have had, and that is before you can get to the bearings, you've got a spacer. I've put everything back on the wheel spindle, but you've got a spacer, a bearing seal, a bearing, an inner spacer, another bearing, and then another seal. Right. The issue I had was when they were still in the wheel and the bearings were in the wheel, they were so tight that you couldn't move this spacer at all when it was mounted in the wheel, which caused a problem. You couldn't, normally what you'd do while it's in the wheel is you'd move the spacer to one side. It should be loose enough to move to one side, and then you can use a drift to drift the bearing out. Now the problem I had was this wouldn't move. Initially it wouldn't move. Once the bearing started to move, it did move to one side, but it hardly moved. Now the problem with that is, you can see there's no space for anything to get anything in there, and I had to go with a blind bearing puller. That wasn't so successful neither. So anyway, cut long story, after using drifts a little bit at a time, I managed to make it loose enough to displace this inner spacer, enough then to get a larger drift through the spacer onto the back bearing to knock it out. So the plan is, before I put the new bearings in, is actually to alter the centre spacer. And what I'm going to do is file some slots in either side, enough so that when I put a drift in, it will be able to catch onto the bearing surface and be able to knock them out in the future. So let's see how that goes. I've got my spacer set up in my vise. I've got them on soft grips, so it should be okay, but it's only an alloy piece with these two spring clips, or whatever they call them, fastened in. So here we go. I don't know why Husqvarna or BMW couldn't do this in the first place. It wouldn't have taken much. But that means now I can just, it doesn't matter which side of the wheel it is, I can just get a drift in there so that I can see down there. Oh, well, you can see. So it'll just, I can just get to the lip now. Yeah, so I can just get to the lip, which means that when I put a drift down, I can hit the bearing. Right, I'm going to do the other side as well. Right, so there we have one spacer, future proof, so if we ever have to change the bearings again, yeah, it's going to make life a lot easier. So even to get a small drift in, because it's got that slot, now we can just get to the bearing. Right, just have one last test. Oh, there we go. And there you can see, and that'll just be enough just to make a movement. If you just get moved slightly, soon as the bearing moves just slightly, then this spacer moves to one side anyway, inside the wheel, inside the casting. So yeah, so one spacer modified, and that means that once you put it back into the wheel, you've got here, you've got your seal will go on, then your bearing, then your spacer, and it won't affect it whatsoever. It just won't affect it whatsoever. Then another bearing, there, and then the other seal, last seal, and then the spacer. And obviously this will all be in the bike, in the wheel, and then come time to change the bearings again, it'll just be an easier job. Well, thank you very much, but hope that helps someone. But thanks for watching.